G'day, this is Mr. Thompson, and this is the, I've lost count. This is the next video in our series on how to build our little wedge Antweight combat robot. So what we need to do now is we need to put some mounts here and a lid. So let's have a look. There's our finished product. Yep. So there's our lid. And if I take the lid off or hide the lid, you can see it's got these mounts here. So we want to be able to screw the lid on. Like that. Okay, so we want some holes for some screws that'll go in through there. So how do we do that? Let's start by, actually the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I select, this is what I always forget, make sure I select the right component. First thing I need to do is I need to put those little mounts in there, and they will be part of the robot body. So if I activate the robot body by clicking in that circle there, so it's activated. Now whatever I build will be part of that component, which is good. So we're going to put those little mounting holes on the robot body, and then we're going to create another component which will be the lid. All right, so I guess the first thing we're going to do is create a sketch. So create sketch, and we'll put a sketch on this I'm just zooming in there so I can get the right spot, on anywhere on the edge there. And now we're going to create a sketch which is just on top of that robot there, on top of the body. Now, you know what? Actually, if I wanted to, I could hide some of the other components because they just make things a bit messy. So we can hide, it doesn't really matter, does it? Let's hide them anyway, just so it's a bit simpler to see. Now, first thing I want to do, I guess, is I want to draw some circles. So if I can click here under Create Circle, or I can use C for circle, and I'm just going to put a circle, I don't know, anywhere, about here, and I'm going to make it a 3mm circle, because I'm going to use 3mm screws. Now, if I use a 3mm hole with 3mm screws, when I 3D print the hole, what I'll find is that the screw will cut its way in. It'll cut its own thread into that hole. So that's a nice size. If I wanted to be able to slide the screw through freely, then I'd have to make it, I think, about 3.2 or 3.3, probably about 3.3mm. It depends on the 3D printer that you're using. But I'll use dimensions that work for me. And if your dimensions don't work, you can come back and edit the actual distances later. All right, let me just move, I'm just going to move that dimension out of the way a little bit. Now I'm going to do C for circle again, and I'm going to do a 6mm circle. Okay, so that'll be the hole, and that'll be so that bit that's highlighted now, that's going to be the actual plastic around the screw. Now we've got to put it in the right spot. At the moment it's all blue, which means, if I press escape a few times, which means I can move these circles around. So let's fix them. Now where do we want to put them? I found, if I do D for dimension, and if I click on that, click on the center of the circle there, and then click on that edge there, like that. So I want that distance to be 2mm, like that. And yeah, there's a bit of overlap there, which is what I want. Now if I zoom out a little bit, and I do the same thing again, except this time clicking on the center of the circle there, and now clicking on that line there, and coming up here, I want that to be 2 as well, like that. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. That will sort of, with that overlap, it means that plastic ring I've got will merge with the body of the robot. Okay, so that one I think is in the right spot. Now I need to do another one over here. So let me. Yeah, you know what? I could do a fancy mirror thing, but I'm not going to bother about that. I'm just going to draw another one because it's pretty easy. So C for circle again. Let's do another circle. Actually, I will show you a trick. Let's do a circle any size, like that. And then another circle any size again. Escape a couple of times. And I'm going to use a constraint. So if I click on the equals constraint, and if I click on that circle, and that circle, it'll make them equal. What that means is if I decide later I want to make both of these holes 3.2mm, I've only got to change the 3 there to 3.2, and because they're equal, that one will automatically change as well. So it's just a nice little thing to do. So again, while I've still got my equal tool working, I'm going to click on that one and that one to make them equal as well. So now I don't have to put dimensions on here. Those dimensions are just copied from there. Now let me escape a few times. I'm just going to, that looks messy, doesn't it? I'm going to just take that out there as well. So it's not so messy. Okay, now I need to position this. So, now I'm going to use another trick. I'm going to use a constraint. I'm going to say, I'm going to use the horizontal constraint there. And I'm going to click on the center of that circle there and the center of that circle there. So they are now lined up horizontally. So that means I don't have to use another dimension. So ideally, when you're using Fusion, the best thing to do is to use constraints more than dimensions. Because if I use constraints everywhere, then it means that when I do want to change a dimension, I've only got to change one dimension, and all of the other things that sort of need to match it will line up automatically. So it's good design practice to only dimension what you need to and use constraints everywhere else if you can. All right, now now I need to line that up over here. I'm going to use a dimension for this one. So D for dimension between that center there and that line there. Now that needs to be, well, that's going to be 2, isn't it? But instead of typing 2, I'm going to just delete that dimension, and I'm just going to click on this dimension here. And then if I press enter, see what that does? That means that that dimension there is equal to that dimension there. See that fx? It means it's a function. It means I didn't actually type a number in. I just said copy something else. So that's another way of making it so that if I change that dimension, it'll automatically make that one will follow it to be the same. And so you can tell because it's got the fx, that means that it's a function, not a number. It's equal to that. All right. What do we need to do now? Now, you know what? I will use a mirror to mirror those over here, but let me just create the features first. So if I zoom in a little bit and I'd press E for extrude. Now, if I extrude that and that section there, actually, you know what it's trying to do? It's trying to create a new body. I don't want a new body. I want it to be a join extrusion because I want it to join the robot body that's already there. If I come here and if I extrude that down, how far down do you reckon? I think if I go, you know what? I don't need too much. I think 6 millimeters is probably going to be okay. Let's do that. Okay. So it's minus 6 millimeters. It's going down. Okay. So it's join. Now, ideally, it'd be good if I have a slopey bottom on there because when I print this, when I 3D print it, it's going to have trouble printing the overhang. It's going to try and print on nothing. So it'll look a bit ragged, but you know what? It will work. If I was being a perfectionist, I'd put a slope on the bottom there, but I'm not going to worry about it because I want to keep this video nice and simple. So let's just leave it like that. And if you are a perfectionist, you might want to come back later and put a slopey bottom on that. All right, but that'll do. So we go okay. Like that. And now those two features there, I'm going to mirror them. So now if I create a mirror, so mirror features, and I want to mirror those features there. So the best way to select them is to come down here. So that was the extrude that I used to create those features. And the mirror plane is that mirror plane there. And we'll just, the compute type, we'll just let it choose its own compute type. And let's go okay. All right, that looks pretty good. So now what I want to do is I want to actually build the lid. So that's built the mounting holes, and those holes there, they're part of the, should have only one body. Good, yeah, they're part of the main robot body. Now, I guess we want to put the lid on. So we want to put the lid on, we need a new component because we don't want the lid to be the same component as the body. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click, oh, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to come up here and activate the top level because I don't want my new lid, I don't want my lid to be underneath the level of the body, of the robot body. I want it to be the same level as all of these other ones. So if I click up here, activate the top level component, click on new component like that. Let's call it lid. And okay. like that. And let's just click away somewhere else. Press escape maybe. No, okay. Oh yeah, actually this makes sense. The reason everything else has gone a bit faded is because the lid has been activated, and all these parts aren't activated. So I can still see them, but they've sort of gone a bit transparent. That's okay. That's going to work for us. All right, I'm going to click on the top view so I can see that like that. Actually, you know what? I won't click on the top view yet. I'll put that back like that. And I want to create a sketch. And the sketch, I want to put the sketch on top of that plane there, like that. And this sketch is going to be the sketch that I build my lid on. So what I want to do is I want to P for project. So P for project, and I want to project that surface there. So see if I click, or if I hover in there. In fact, let's zoom over here a little bit. Yeah, that's going to work. If I hover in there like that, and I'm going to project that into my sketch. So that surface there, now, can you see it's gone purple? That surface there has become the part of my sketch that I want to use. Oh, you know what? I didn't need that whole thing. Never mind. That's going to work. So now I'm going to do E for extrude. And I'm going to click, actually I want my lid to be that, but I also want my lid to be that. Okay, so I've clicked both of those regions, but I haven't clicked the holes. You know what? I'm not going to extrude yet. Change my mind. Let's cancel. What I want to do first is I want to make these. Yeah, let's do it this way. I want to make these a little bit bigger because remember I said the thread of the screw is going to bite into that hole, but I don't want the thread to bite into the hole in the lid. I want the thread to slide through the hole in the lid and bite into this, so that when you tighten the screw, it tightens the lid on. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an offset, like this, an offset there, and I'm going to make I don't know, I think probably 0.15 will do, a 0.15 offset, and I'll go okay, like that. Okay, just to make that hole in the lid just a little bit bigger. So let's do it on all of these. So again, click on there and do a 0.15. Okay, and you know what? I could probably do some clever thing with mirrors and things if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I think that's probably more trouble than it's worth. So 0.15 there like that, and another offset in here. Let's see, offset there, 0.15 like that. Okay, now when I do my extrude, so E for extrude, now I'm going to click that section there and that section there, and if I zoom in really closely, you can see how my hole now is going to be, the hole in my lid is going to be slightly bigger than the hole in the base, so that my screw slides through the lid but grips onto the hole in the base. All right, so how far do I want to extrude? Well, I'm thinking 2 millimeters is going to be good. So lift that up 2 millimeters. Oh, that's gone 5 millimeters. Let me just type in there 2 millimeters. So 2 millimeters. Okay, a new body is this is new body because it's not going to be, this is a new body. It doesn't have to join anything I've already made. And there we go, we got the lid. So I think we're pretty much done. Let's activate the top level. And now we can see our whole robot. So I think we're done. If we hide the lid there, we can see inside. Oh, let me turn these back on so we can see them. Okay, there we go. There's our robot, and that's ready to 3D print. Now, you know what I haven't done yet? We still need to put a switch and an LED on this. But I've made some little PCB switches and LEDs, but I haven't got them back from the PCB manufacturer yet, so I don't know what size they're going to be. Well, I do, but I want to make sure, I want to test it out in a real life design before I show you how to do it. So that will do for now. If you want to go and print your robot body, you can do that. So let's turn that off, turn that back on. So you could go utilities and make like that, and print, select the objects select them from over here. So if you want to select the body, go there, and then you'll click OK, and you'll save the STL file. And when you want to print the lid, you'll click there and go OK and save the STL file for the lid. You can print your wheels. Okay, so we're done. I will make another video, but not yet. Go ahead and print your robots and see how they turn out.